For those of you who are on Mall World Talk, I don't even know if that's a hashtag yet, but let's just call it that. I want to talk about this a little bit because I've been here as well, but I have not had the same experience as what I've been reading. There is a creator on here who has talked about this place, right? But she's talking about it from the other side, like around this area. That's where I've experienced it as well. I'm going to tag these creators at the bottom. I'm going to show you the image, what she created, because she drew it out as well, not as a map necessarily, but she created it through Photoshop. And I want to be able to give her credit. She still has her account on here, so hold on. This is Astral Archangel. That's her name here. This is a screenshot that I saved from 2022. Because I had to send it to somebody who doesn't like watch TikToks, but I had to show them this is what I was talking about when I kept saying I kept visiting this place. And the mall, the apartment, I had an apartment. My storyline is very different. Maybe I'll share it if you guys are interested, but she has a series where she talks about this. And I highly recommend you guys go through. You may have to scroll down a bit, but she pinned one of the videos and she talks about it and she shows her version of it through Photoshop. I think it's very interesting. First of all, I'm definitely going to have to do a part 2, but I want to talk about the spiritual aspect of, from my perspective when it comes to this place, right? This is definitely a form of collective consciousness, right? And confirmation. Thank you, Ogun. The reason why we're interpreting it differently, again, this is just from my perspective. I've been practicing and astral projecting for about 30 years now. From my perspective and my knowledge, we're all seeing it a little bit differently because of our own past experiences and the planes that we've traveled over time through dreams, unintentional astral projection, and so on, and that kind of like residual energy, especially if you're not aware that you're doing this, that residual energy that comes from those travels, they stick to you, and it kind of helps more for create the world that you're seeing. So it might be a little bit different. Of course, there's also aspects that we have to face. And it also comes down to what you allow in your energy that stores in your subconscious. So that may be why some areas might be more of the lower realms, is what you would really call it. At least that's what I would call it. Where you're experiencing the creepy playgrounds or amusement parks or places you feel like are not supposed to be seen, so to speak, right? And that's because we're all collectively able to go to this space, right? Even if it's a different version of it, we're on this plane together, right? There are some energies that don't vibrate a certain way, so they're not able to enter certain spaces, or there's certain energies that may be amongst us, whether they realize it or not, that vibrate at a lower frequency because of what they take in the real world or in the 3D that stores in their subconscious. So we're seeing that, for example, doom scrolling. So we're seeing that literally reflect in that area. So when you see the playground, I'm using that as an example from the mall world, the playground that does not look safe. What's going on in the world today? Children are not safe. It's a reflection of the collective consciousness. Our experiences may be different based on what's going on again in our 3D reality and what we allow in. Sometimes it might be very pleasant because we're not self-aware enough. So it's just like we're not, but you're going to end up stepping into a space where you might face a shadow side, where you have to reflect on something, such as where in Mall World, I believe she speaks about way in the back, where she starts to like see things that are familiar, or she's going to the theater where she knows everybody. That's where it starts to get a little bit more on the shadow side. The reason why, I figured I'd switch back. The reason why you might be able to get into that club that she spoke of sometimes, but not all the time, because you may not be invited. One, because somebody may be occupying it where the frequency is too low for you to be there, and you could be ancestrally being protected, or your spiritual team may be protecting you, or it could be that your vibration is not high enough to reach that height, how high it is, right? That's something that you have to kind of look at it in a way where you're reading between the lines, and you're also you have to process it based off your own experience. But I would definitely recommend doing research. I don't recommend people who don't have experience to just go out of their way to travel here. If you haven't been here before, if you don't remember, if you do try to, just make sure you're going in with extra protection, because now a lot of people are talking about this, right? So that means, it's making it more active, in terms of the collective consciousness. So a lot of us are probably going to be able to go there, or it's going to be a little bit So it's going to be a little bit more chaotic or a little bit more open. So with good, there's bad. So just make sure you're praying before you go to bed if that's something you believe in, or whatever you see fit in order to protect yourself before stepping into these places, because you could end up in a lower realm. That's not to fearmonger. Now, if you do end up in a lower realm, maybe I'll do that in another video. This is like 5 minutes, but that's just what I just wanted to do a little whoop-de-whoop video about it. So be safe, you guys. Also, side note, there's a Taco Bell in the sky. So if you go through that, like that road, that bridge that goes all the way up into the sky and it drops down, it's kind of like I call it the Rainbow Road. I think that's what it's called in Mario Kart. That's what it reminds me of. It's just kind of like windy and crazy, and it's like a deep, deep drop. Hold on, I'm gonna get another picture that is reminds me of that as well. It's online, it's edited, but it's a popular picture that was edited before. Kind of like this, but like way more intense. And for me personally, it's usually like I usually see stars. Like it's usually more like a nighttime or like you're in space. But there's a Taco Bell in the sky, and I just want to say that the collective consciousness has the biggest of big bags ever.